Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Happy post Hanukkah. It's so nice to see you all. One of the big benefits about Hanukkah is that it spanned 2 months, 2 Jewish months, the month of Kislev and the month of Tevet that we are in now. And so the truth is that the light of Hanukkah then therefore spans both months, and we're still in Hanukkah. Andy Linko was so on top of things, and she caught my mistake, which I didn't even realize I made in my email to you when I said Mikates, and we're in Parshat Vayigash. And so you get the prize. I wish I had a prize to give you. Come to Israel and I'll give you a prize. So thank you. So what we're going to focus on is this comes primarily from a class from Rabbi Daniel Gladstein. But before we start, I want to share with you three things. One happened just today, the specialness of being in the land of Israel. We need to take our car in for some service. And a person who lives in our community, in our settlement, in the Yishuv, has a body shop close by. And he said, just bring the car over and that he would take a look at it. So we went over to the body shop, and we hadn't been there before. And it was so beautiful. Outside of his shop, he has a metal like plaque. And it says in Hebrew, Mizmor LeTodah, which is the Psalm 100, a song of thanks, of gratitude to Hashem. So that's outside of his body shop. And you go inside, and on the wall is also the same thing. The full text of the psalm is up on the wall. And unlike other body shops I've been to in my life, instead of being while you're waiting that there are magazines about autos or guns or trucks or whatever, are shelves with Sfarim, with Jewish books, so that you can learn some Torah while you're waiting for your car to be serviced. And a tzedakah box. And that was this auto body repair shop. I thought, and there was somebody's tefillin was there that they had put on. And I'd be like, this is like the most amazing thing. Plus they fixed our car, which was also amazing. But I just thought this is just such an Israel experience. So that was beautiful. The second thing I want to tell you, which is we had the privilege of sharing with Darlene and David Schwartz, is that for the end of Hanukkah, we went to Shiloh, which is where the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, was kept for 369 years after the Jewish people came into the land of Israel. Now think about that. That's longer than the United States has existed as a country. That's how longer than that is how long the Mishkan was in Shiloh, until it was destroyed by the Philistines and burned to the ground. And that it has now been all sorts of archaeological exploration. So we went there to be able to celebrate Hanukkah there in the place where the tabernacle, where the Mishkan had stood, was very powerful and meaningful. One of the things they've discovered, and I don't remember who was with me on which trip, if you were, where we went to Shiloh and saw that one of the things they have found were big clay urns that were sealed, that had grain inside them, that they were able to carbon date back to the time of when the Philistines destroyed Shiloh. And the urns have like smoke marks from burning on the outside of them, but because they were intact, it wasn't like there was a siege and the people were starving, that it was burned. And so they were able to date it back to exactly when the Philistines destroyed Shiloh. So it's amazing. And they were able to figure out exactly where it was. And then we had the privilege of going to an army post. Forget what the word is. Army, whatever it's called. What's it called?
Army base.
Army base. Thank you. Those English words are just getting harder. And the Hebrew, I have no words. Army base So, which was also great. We were with a large group, almost like 120 people, and to have a barbecue and to light the menorah. The menorah, very poignantly, was made from shrapnel from rockets that had been sent into Israel and made into a menorah. So, what they try to destroy us with, that then we create as a source of light. So, that was very powerful. There was dancing, the barbecue. Unfortunately, there were only a few soldiers there because the rest of the soldiers got called away because there was an incident in one of the surrounding Arab villages. The Arabs, one of their tactics is that they use laser lights to shine in the eyes of drivers on the road to cause them to crash and run off the road. So, against the Jews. So the army went to go take care of that. So we didn't have a full group, but we had some, including a soldier DJ guy who was very lively. And one of the people in the group, it turned out he had just gotten engaged, of the, not the army people, but of our tour group, had just gotten engaged, and it was announced. And so it went from Hanukkah into wedding music. And so these are all people, like some of the people knew each other, but a lot of people didn't know each other. But when you're Jewish, there's a Jewish wedding or there's a Jewish celebration, it's like it doesn't matter. Everyone just joined in the circle and they're lifting them up in the air and singing all the wedding songs. So it was a very beautiful way to launch the last day of Hanukkah, the last night of Hanukkah, and to bring the whole full circle of our modern day Maccabees, of our modern day soldiers who are fighting those who are trying to destroy us still, as we celebrate Hanukkah, about our ability to prevail and have our light still shine, which we are still in the midst of doing. So with all of that, I want to share some ideas about not just this week's Parsha Vayigash, but also last week's Parsha of Miketz, and the coming week's Parsha next week, which is Vayechi. I will not be able to teach next week. We have a wedding that we'll be going to here, and it is the end of the book of Bereshit. Somehow that went really quickly. So when we celebrated Hanukkah, there's a song that most people know, other than I Have a Little Dreidel, which is one that many people know. But if you look in your Siddur, in your prayer book, and you look under the section of lighting the Hanukkah candles, there is a song that people sing around the world. And I'm going to sing it, and just raise your hand if you are familiar with this. Ma'asur Yeshuati L'chana Elishabeach. Okay, that song, Jews around the world sing this song. Most people, or I shouldn't say most people, when I was growing up, we sang one verse of that song. I don't know if any of you, even how many people are aware that there are a number of verses to that song. In fact, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 6 verses to it. And even though we associate it with Hanukkah, the truth is that only one of the verses is about Hanukkah, and that is the 5th verse. The first verse is barely about Hanukkah because it talks about the dedication of the altar, which if you didn't know it was talking about Hanukkah, you wouldn't necessarily know. So the question is, what are we singing about? And Marcia, did you have a question?
Yes, is
We're
that Rock
singing
of
about
Ages?
Yes, Rock of
yes.
Ages.
We're singing
Okay.
about all the
I only know a
times.
little
Hold on one
English.
second, Sabrina. Marcia, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just know a little bit of the English. It's my favorite Jewish song of all. It's
Oh,
gorgeous,
it is
in
gorgeous.
my
That,
opinion.
thank you. Okay, we're going to talk about it.
We're
And
singing
this,
about the times that God has interfered to save us. It's in every verse.
right, in every verse. So the question is, why are we singing that on Hanukkah? When we celebrate Pesach, we talk about being saved from the Egyptians. We don't talk about what we've been saved from everything. We talk about from the Egyptians. However, Hanukkah has many more layers, which we're going to find out that we are celebrating, have celebrated, and the truth is are still celebrating Hanukkah, because Hanukkah means inauguration and dedication. But to
Isn't it
inaugurate,
because that it's biblical? It's not a Torah festival, so the rabbis decided to throw in other things to strengthen it
okay,
because they
so
instituted.
let's give me a moment here, Selena, and let me develop this, and we'll have an answer to the question. So the holiday is about many more layers than we're used to thinking about. So we tend to think about it that it is about, which would be enough, that we had the battle against the Syrian Greeks, and we were able to purify the temple and to rekindle the menorah and celebrate the holiday. So one of the things that's interesting is Hanukkah lasts longer than any of the biblical holidays. You'd think that that would be somehow a no-no, that if it's longer than Pesach, longer than Sukkot, and now we have a holiday that is 8 days long. So we're saying that it's an inauguration. When you inaugurate something, that means you are starting something, not that you are necessarily celebrating something that already happened, but that you are preparing to move forward. So a number of different sages look at this, is that Hanukkah is celebrating. Yes, we're going to mention all the different things that Hashem has saved us from in Ma'ot Tzur, but what we're really talking about is that we are preparing, that we have inaugurated, and we have just launched, that unbeknownst to us, we had an 8-day holiday to launch the next chapter, which is going to be the rebuilding of the third temple, the Beit HaMikdash, and the kindling of the menorah, and bringing everything else into play for the final and ultimate redemption. Which is why when we celebrate Hanukkah, we are not just, when you're celebrating something that's going to be the final chapter of Jewish history, it's at that moment that is what deserves going back and looking at all of the stages that went into it. All the stages went into it. Dayenu and the Haggadah is still all about Pesach. It's not about anything. It's only about the leading up to the Exodus. It doesn't, and going into getting the Torah, going to the land of Israel, but it doesn't span all of Jewish history. If we look at the verses of Ma'ot Tzur, it starts off with the Egyptian being saved from the Egyptians. Then it goes into being saved from the Babylonian exile. And then it talks about Haman, and it talks about Purim. And then it talks about the verse that's really about Hanukkah, which is about the Greeks. So again, it's not until the 5th out of 6 verses that we're even talking about Hanukkah. And then the final one is talking about the end of time, when we talk about Esav, the Edomites, the red one from the word Adom, and we're talking about the end of history, when we will have, it ends up with, the final words are established for us the 7 shepherds. Those are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Yosef, and David. Make the whole system function again. So when we're talking about Ma'ot Tzur, we're saying what we're celebrating now is that we're preparing ourselves and inaugurating ourselves for the final chapter, the final redemption. There's an interesting thing we mention, which is, it says that the Jewish people we have 4 exiles. And one of these is, there's going to seem like there's something missing. We have the exile that is the Babylonian exile. We have what's called the Persian exile. We have the Greek exile, and what we're in now, which is called the Roman exile. Interestingly, Egypt is not included. Egypt isn't included. So that's kind of funny, because we spent 210 years in Egypt, and that is our exile. So the question is, why is that? So what we're going to learn and appreciate today is that Egypt is considered the mother of all exiles. It's considered the one that embraces all of the exiles, and that there's going to be a hint to each of the stages that the Jewish people have gone through from our experience in Egypt. What's the game that we all play on Hanukkah? Dreidel. Now, in Israel, more contemporarily, the dreidel says Nes, it has a nun gimel hey pei. Nes gadol haya po. A great miracle happened here. But our dreidels, Nes gadol haya sham. A great miracle happened there. It says, what is the dreidel? And are these words? How did we end up with these words? There's a hint in this week's Parsha of Vayigash. So let's take a look and see what we can discover. And we're going to go through these clues that put together what's really happening in these final Parshas of the book of Bereshit, when the Jewish people is being established, how not only are the people being established as a people, as a family, the tribes, and as a nation, but all of our history is being referred to in these parshas, telling us what's going to happen in the future. When we can see that, we will realize, even though we feel like we have to keep learning this lesson, we are part of a very big, long story that is not random, that has been laid out centuries before, that we are going through and are being able to witness its unfolding. So let's take a look. The first thing we're going to see is the reference to the dreidel. Where do we see that? We're going to see it on, hold on one second, page 261. Okay. Where we are in the story, for right now, where we are in the story, is Joseph has risen to be the second in command in Egypt. He is saving the Egyptians from famine. He had an economic plan. He's basically saving the world. His brothers come down, not knowing it's him, to come for food. They come down. He basically gets them to admit that one of the brothers did not come, who was Benjamin. Joseph says, I'm going to hold one of you captive, and you come back and you bring your brother Benjamin, otherwise I don't want to see your face again. They go back to Jacob in Israel, in Canaan. They come back down with Benjamin. Joseph then is going to reveal himself to his brothers. They will go back and get Jacob and come back down to Egypt, and Jacob will be reunited with the family. And then Jacob's going to live out the rest of his life in Egypt, and then he's going to be buried back in the land of Israel. His sons are going to take him back into the land of Israel and then return to Egypt. And then the Jewish people are going to be there until the Exodus from Egypt, which will start the story in a couple weeks in the book of Shemot. However, before Jacob comes down to Egypt, and before the brothers all return with him to Egypt to be reunited with Joseph, Jacob does something interesting. He sends Judah, ahead, and he tells him that Judah should go ahead to prepare. To prepare what? Look at verse 28 on page 261, verse 28.
A yeshiva.
Okay, yes, but hold on, stick with me here. He sent Yehuda ahead of him to Joseph to prepare ahead of him in Goshen, and they arrived in the region of Goshen. So just as Selena said, what was he supposed to go down and to prepare? He says he's going to go down to prepare a yeshiva, a makom, a place of Torah study that would be the basis for the family to be able to live in Egypt. What we're going to look at is actually the wording in the Hebrew, where it says that he's sending him to Goshen, to prepare ahead of him in Goshen. If you were going to say in Goshen, in Hebrew, you would say be Goshen, or send you le Goshen, to Goshen. But if you look at the Hebrew, and it is the third line from the bottom in the Hebrew, the third, page 260.
Okay, thank you.
The third line from the bottom in the Hebrew, the third word from the right. Or I'll read the three words. Leharot lefanav goshna. Do you see that word goshna? That's an unusual phrase. It should have said legoshen, to Goshen, or begoshen, in Goshen. Instead, it says goshna. Now, what is that goshna? What are the letters that spell? So that's immediately the question is asked, like, why does it say that? So if you're a Hebrew grammatical scholar, and I saw the look already on Darlene's face, that you see that and you see those letters, and it is Gimel, Shin, Nun, Hey. What are those letters just in the different order? Those are Nun, Gimel, Shin, I'm saying Hey, Shin. Nes Gadol Haya Sham. These are the letters of the dreidel. Goshna represents the letters of the dreidel. So we say that we are spinning the dreidel and we're playing dreidel. It's like we are spinning, we are connecting to Goshen. So what is Goshen? What is the whole point? It says that the point of being in Goshen, and as Selena had said about establishing the yeshiva, is not just because the Jewish people have a love of education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We do. We don't just have a love of education. We have a love of intellectual clarity.
Galut, the first galut.
Yes. Okay. Hang on, Selena. Okay. That we are our reason for having a yeshiva and to have learning is to learn Torah so that we have moral clarity. And moral clarity, especially going into a place like Egypt, which was the opposite of that, is imperative. So we are being told what is the necessity, what do you need to have in order to survive in exile. In order to survive in exile, you better have Goshna. You better have Yehuda preparing ahead of time the place for the Jewish people to learn and to study and to be able to be centered and focused so they don't lose themselves and assimilate. So Goshen became the place where that happened. But you don't see it in the word just Goshen, it's only in Goshna, where you see the Gimel, Shin, Nun, and Hey. So it says that this was the connection and the connection to Hanukkah in this week's Parsha. Now, this week's Parsha actually started last Shabbos afternoon. We always start the Parsha, the new Parsha started last Shabbos afternoon. So this whole week has been the week of the Parsha of Vayigash, which means the end of Hanukkah was in Parshas Vayigash. The beginning of Hanukkah was in Parshat Miketz. So we spanned two parshas. So we have both of them here. It says, what is the dreidel? It says, when we think about the Greeks did not believe in a first cause. They did not believe that there was a creator who created the world. They believed that the world always existed. Now, scientists until 1964, in our time, believed the same thing. It wasn't until the Big Bang theory came along that there was an acknowledgement that there had been an act of creation from the scientific perspective. The message of the dreidel is the dreidel by definition only works if someone is spinning it. It says the spinning dreidel is if you have a spinning dreidel, then you have somebody who is spinning it. There is no such thing as a dreidel that is lying on the ground and then spontaneously picks up and starts spinning. There's also no such thing as a dreidel that has always been spinning. If a dreidel is spinning, it's because someone is spinning it. Now, this message, which we think of as, are you sure the kids playing dreidel are getting this message? This is like subliminal teachings, like, who's spinning the dreidel? It's Hashem. Hashem is spinning the world. Hashem is running the world. This is Goshna. This was going to be the focus of what a yeshiva would be, is who is running the world? Under whose guidance is the world created, managed, and directed? under the direction of Hashem, which we know that's going to be the major point, because when we get into the book of Shemot and we get into the story of Exodus, we have God saying to Moshe that these plagues that I'm going to send to Egypt are going to be so that they will know that I am God. They will know that I'm the creator. They will know what my power is, because Pharaoh wants to think that he's God. He's the one who's spinning the dreidel. So spinning the dreidel is not just about, I hope I land on Gimel and get all the candy. It's no, this is considered to be a message of a philosophical, theological reality that when we are spinning the dreidel, we are reminding ourselves that it is Hashem who is spinning the world. And this is all from just the fact that it says Goshna, which it shouldn't say. It should say something else. It should be worded differently in the grammar. So that's the first reference to Hanukkah. The second reference to Hanukkah actually comes in next week's Parsha, which is Parshas Vayechi, and has to do with when Yaakov dies. When he dies at the end of the Parsha, hold on one second, we'll turn to it. We're going to see page 285. 285, it's chapter 49, verse 33. When Jacob finished instructing his sons, he drew his feet onto the bed. He expired and was gathered to his people, meaning he passed away. Then Joseph falls up on his father's face and weeps and kisses him, etc. And then they embalm Jacob in order to prepare him for being transported. So look at the timing here. It says that verse 3, it was a 40-day term, for such is the term of the embalming, and then Egypt bewailed him for 70 days. So 70 days included 40 days for the embalming and 30 days for mourning. So a total of 70 days. So from the time that Jacob died until he is buried, and he's going to be buried in the cave of Machpelah back in the land of Israel, it says that was 70 days. So when did Jacob die? It says he died and was born. He was born on and died on the 15th of Tishrei, which was the first day of Sukkot. So he was born and he died on the first day of Sukkot. If you take 70 days later, when was Jacob buried? He was buried, you go count on your calendar, and you will get yourself to the 25th of Kislev. He was buried on the first day of Hanukkah. It says that Yaakov represents the Hanukkah of being returned to the land of Israel, because that's the ultimate goal, is to come back, and that Hanukkah, which really is celebrating the final story of returning to the land of Israel, that's when Jacob is returned and is buried in the cave of Machpelah, is on Hanukkah, on the 25th of Kislev. So that's the second Hanukkah connection to these parshas that we read around the time of Hanukkah. Now, what's also really interesting is that there are references to Purim as well in these parshas. Now, we already just said that in Ma'ot Sur, which is our epitome of Hanukkah songs, that we talk about Purim, So Purim, there is a reference, several references. So let's take a look and see what we're going to see. Let me just ask a question. Selena, did you have a question before that you had wanted to ask? You can unmute when you do. And Dorothy, do you have one? I see your hand up. You're muted still. Okay. When you can unmute, just raise your hand and I'll call on you. And Selena, also, if you have your question. Okay. Let's take a look at this. something kind of strange happened. Oh, there you are, Selena. Okay, I didn't know if you had a question or not, but you're muted.
I did. The first, so that's interesting, the first reference for dreidel, because dreidels were taken out, we were told, by the rabbis to stop them being caught from learning in the caves when they banned Torah learning and they played dreidel. So that's not
Yes,
the first reference to it. You said what you read in the Torah is the first reference, right?
that's the first reference. Yeah, very fascinating. So, yeah, this is very, very fascinating. And now
And
we're going to
who
find,
found the Nes Gadol Hayasham? I've never heard that before. That's genius that someone spotted it.
I know, I don't remember. I didn't write it down. It went by very quickly. I can listen to it again to find it. It was on Rabbi Daniel Gladstein's shir for Parsha Vayigash.
That doesn't matter. It's just I've never heard it, and it's a genius like
I
link.
know. I had
Yeah.
never heard it. It's very cool. It's very cool. Okay.
I'm
Dorothy,
sorry,
yes.
I just one quick thing because it was a little noisy here. Goshen is a special place. I mean, why does that even
Thank
come
you.
up?
Thank you very much. Goshen is the place where Yaakov and his family settled initially. Then they spread out in
In
Egypt
Israel
because
or in Egypt? In
in
Israel.
Egypt, in
Oh, in
Egypt.
Egypt. Okay.
Yeah, this was where Jacob sent Yehuda ahead to Egypt to prepare for
Right.
everybody coming down there, and he went to Goshen. To Goshen, and
Why
that got,
Goshen?
I'm
You know
sorry?
why Goshen? You know why Goshen?
I don't. I know there's a reason, but I don't know what it
Because
is.
Goshen was out of the main area. It
Right. It was
wasn't
out of,
inhabited. It was like in the sticks.
right. Not only that, it was pasture land because they needed a place for all of their flocks. So it needed to be a place, and the Egyptians found that abominable to be shepherds. And so that needed to be a way, but that was good. Joseph went um, to great effort to keep his family away from the Egyptian society. You know, he didn't want Pharaoh bringing other of his brothers into the cabinet to work. He was saying like, no, we're shepherds, you know, like we just like do our own thing. So Goshen was that kind of an area. I'm going to
It's
go
like
ahead
Rav
next.
Aaron Kotler. Rav Aaron Kotler chose Lakewood because it was
Right,
in the
Lakewood.
sticks. Right.
Same thing. Okay, now we're going to go to Purim because we also have the mention of Purim in Ma'ot Tzur. So again, we're saying that the holidays that we're talking about are not biblical holidays. So why are they even in the Torah to begin with? Other than the fact that we know that they are. There are a bunch of other references. We know that there are references to Purim, to Esther, and to Mordecai, and to Haman. There are other word references. There are references to the lighting of the menorah with Aaron in Parsha Bahalotecha. But now we're talking about the unfolding of history. So when we were talking about Yaakov having a Hanukkah connection of being buried on Hanukkah back in the land of Israel, of having the Nes Gadol, Hayasham, of Goshna, of being the place of how do we survive? If someone says, how do I survive being in exile? Just say Nes Gadol Hayasham. And the truth is, that was the miracle. Nes Gadol Hayasham. It was a tremendous miracle that the Jewish people have survived in all of the places of each of the exiles that they have been in. We should not only shouldn't we be here because of all of the oppression and persecution and everything else, we shouldn't be here just because of the force of assimilation. But it's almost as if this Goshna has been able to preserve us. It's like the dreidel has preserved us, and that is the symbol of our preservation. Then we have Purim, the reference to Purim. What's the reference to Purim? That this is going to be coming down for the Jewish people also, that this is going to be the exile of Persia. Turn to page 245. I'm sorry, 255. Let's go to 255. 255. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Go to 245. We're going to look at that first. A very strange, very strange. When Joseph's brothers come down to Egypt, and they don't know that Joseph is Joseph, but they are together. Joseph invites them to have a meal with him, which is a little unusual that you're accusing people of being spies, but then you invite them in and you have a meal with them. But not only did they get together for that, but something really strange. Look at verse 34. He had portions, that means Joseph had portions that had been set before him, served to them, meaning his brothers. And Benjamin's portion, so this was when Benjamin was already down, was 5 times as much as the portion of any of the other brothers. They drank and became intoxicated with him. The brothers drank and became intoxicated with Joseph. Now, it wasn't like the custom of the Jewish men to get drunk. It's certainly not a custom of the Jewish people to get drunk with the second in command of Egypt. So what is this? They drank and became intoxicated with him. Where do we see drinking and intoxication as being a good thing that's going to be in our history?
In Purim.
Purim.
When
The Purim
Devorah
Seudah.
chopped off Sisera's head.
Okay, that too, but we're talking about the Jewish people.
In
drinking
Israel, it's
and
all
having
about
that.
Purim, drinking. Yes, absolutely.
Purim is drinking, and it's like it says the Seudah, the feast. The Purim
Right, the Seudah,
feast
right.
is about drinking. It says this is going to be the drinking. This is a pre-drinking for the Purim Seudah. Now we are so used to thinking of Jewish history as linear instead of an unfolding of something that shows of like a flower that's the same thing. It just gets bigger and bigger, but the petals just repeat themselves and repeat themselves and repeat themselves. And if you go to the core, you see it looks exactly the same on the inside as it does on the outside. This is like, where does this start? Where do we first see it? It says, we first see the Purim Seudah here with this drinking of the brothers all together. Which brother is getting special consideration here?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Now, Benjamin is getting special consideration for maybe several reasons, not the least of which is Benjamin is Joseph's full brother. They're from the same mother. They're both the children of Rachel. Benjamin is the baby. Okay, so that is Joseph's little brother, and he hasn't seen him all these years. So it's like, I'm giving my brother all of this. However, who else is Benjamin? In the Purim story, who is Benjamin? Benjamin is
From Mordecai?
Mordecai.
Mordecai. Mordecai is an Ish Yemini, who we just said we were singing about in Ma'ot Tzor. That's one of the verses, is that we are singing about him when we say, Rosh Yemini Niseta, Ve'oyev Shemo Machita. The head of Mordecai the Benjaminite you raised, and the enemy, his name you blotted out, and his many sons and possessions you hanged on a tree. We're singing about that on Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is not just Hanukkah. Hanukkah is going to be the culmination of all of the exiles, and we're celebrating, we're having a pre-celebration of Purim now in Egypt, now that the brothers have all been unified with Benjamin, and this number of things he gets. What does it say that he got? Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as the portion of any of them. Darlene, okay. Now turn to page 255. Hold in mind that those 5 times, those 5, and let's take a look at, this is now when the brothers are going to go back to get Jacob. So this is another trip, and Joseph is again going to give something more to Benjamin. So let's take a look on page 255, verse 22. To each of them, that means to each of the brothers, Joseph gave changes of clothing, but to Benjamin, he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of clothing. What's this thing about 5? The Benjamin is getting 5. He's getting 5 the portions. He's giving 5 times the changes of clothing. Is that number significant? We already said that Benjamin and the Seudah and getting drunk is already about Purim. Is there anything about Mordecai? Where do we see Do we see Mordecai with 5 things having to do with clothing? Where do we see that Mordecai is going to have something with 5 and clothing? And the answer is on page 1259. Yes, Darlene.
Well, I'm guessing when the king wanted to honor someone that had done something for him, and he didn't actually say it was Mordecai, but he talked about what could we do to honor this person? And
Exactly.
Alvin came up with what he thought was going to be for him.
Exactly. So if you go to page 1259, this is in the Megillah, and verse 15. Now it happens that this verse is one that we read aloud on Purim. There are a number of verses about Mordecai that we read out loud in the Megillah, and you can see it's in bold print. Mordecai left the king's presence clad in royal apparel of turquoise and white, with a large gold crown and a robe of fine linen and purple, and the city of Shushan was cheerful and glad. And then we have the words that we say at Havdalah, La Yehudim haita or v'simcha v'sason bikar, and the Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. So it counts the words of clothing. And let's see. Milifnei hamelech bilvush malchut techelet v'chur v'yater v'zahav v'tachrich boots v'argaman. That these are they're called the 5 garments that Mordecai was given for an honor. And it's this moment that changes the course of the story that is going to lead to the Jews' salvation, because the people of Shushan now are confused about whose side they should be on. Should they be on Haman's side of the anti-Semites, or should they be on the Jews' side? And Mordecai being dressed in these 5 garments, so it's not just like, oh, he's being honored by the king. This outfit, how we need this today, is somebody to be able to be out there wearing garments that show the world which side they should be going with, which is with the Jewish people. So when Joseph and his brothers are having this feast, and Joseph is giving these 5 portions and 5 everythings, like, you are really Mordecai. This is your great, 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 great grandson who is going to be this, and this is going to be the redemption of the Jewish people from Persia, from the Persian exile. So, because it's after that that the Jews will be able to go back to the land of Israel and rebuild the second temple. So this is considered all a pre-Purim reference. Okay. So we've got Hanukkah, we've got Purim, we've got like Jewish history happening all over the place. What else do we have? We've talked about that the brothers keep going back and forth between Egypt and the land of Israel, right? They keep going back and forth. So let's talk about how many times. The brothers go down to Egypt to buy food the first time.
Right.
Then they're going to come back down again with Benjamin. Then they're going to come back down again with Jacob. And then they're going to come back down again after they bury Jacob in the land of Israel. How many times do they go down to Egypt? 4 times. This is what we're saying, is that Egypt is called the mother of all the exiles. The 4 exiles, which are called the exile of Babylonia, Persia, Greece, and Rome, all those 4, it says, are hinted at by the brothers 4 times going down to Egypt. They also leave Egypt 4 times. The brothers go back when Joseph tells them they have to go back to go get Benjamin. They go back to get Jacob. They go back to after they bury Jacob. And they leave when they go out to bury Jacob, and then they'll go out again 210 years later with all of the Jewish people. So it says all of the redemptions and all of the exiles are all hinted at the back and forth between Egypt and the land of Israel, Egypt and the land of Israel, Egypt and the land of Israel. So it's like there's like a microcosm convergence of all of history happening just in these parshas. So if there wasn't just like enough drama in the story as it is, it's like there's enough drama To not say, oh, well, what else is going on? Not is it only the drama between the brothers and the children of Rachel and the children of Leah, and why did Jacob favor this and all this? We are seeing all of this happen, and we know that all of it is centered on what it's not a secondary story. It's the story of the trauma and drama of the Jewish people. Because what we know is at the root of all of our problems and our challenges is how we are getting along with one another. So when the brothers are unified, when the family is together, that's when we see things working out correctly. And when they're not, that's when things go poorly for us. So we're still working on it. We're still working on it. So these parshas are the description of the problem and the description of the solution at the same time. Now, here's another connection that we have as well. So we've got all these fours, the 4 exiles and the 4 redemptions going together with the brothers coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going between Egypt and the land of Israel. When Jacob comes down with his family, how many people come down to Egypt?
72 souls.
72 souls. So that is one of the numbers. However, we're going to see that there's another number. I'm sorry?
Wasn't it 70 and like Yocheved was born as they were coming into Mitzrayim?
Yes, as they're going through the gate. But take a look at, hold on a second. Did I not write this down? Hold on one second. Let me see where, write this down. We want to, when the brothers came down, oh, I'm sorry, where is this? I want to see, oh, after the listing of all of the people, hold on one second. Okay, look at page 261. For some reason, this has always escaped me. 261, Parsha Vayigash. All the persons coming with Jacob to Egypt, his own descendants, aside from the wives of Jacob's sons, 66 persons in all. It's when you add in Joseph and his sons that then you end up with 70. But the people coming down are 66. What is 66? Now in Christianity, I guess is something scary because people are always like, oh, that's the number of the devil or something. People always get freaked out with our Colorado phone number, 303-333-0666. It's like, it's like whatever. I'm like, it's easy to remember is all I know about it. 66. 66 is the gematria, the numerical equivalent of Yavan. Yavan is Greece. Exactly, Slovenia. Is Greece. It says these 66 people that are Yaakov's family coming down into Egypt, it says we are keneged, like the antidote to Greece. We are the antidote to the power of Greece, are the 66 people who came down from to go down into Egypt. This 66, it says that this is the power of Greece is this power of 66. And so if you want something to be opposite it, you have to have something that counters it. What helps is if you have something that is even more than the power of 66. And this is a very interesting word, is the word binah. If you look in Ma'otsur, there is when it talks about the Greeks, in the 5th verse, it says, B'nai binah yemei shmona kavu shir u'rananim. Men of understanding, of Bina, established 8 days of song and rejoicing for the Hanukkah holiday. Why does it say B'nai Bina, men of wisdom and understanding? The word Bina has a gematria of 67. It says it has one more than 66. Yavan is almost like Bina. It has a yud and it has a nun, but it's not wisdom and understanding. There is a type of wisdom that the world has, that science has, that physics has, that art has, medicine, all these things are wisdoms. But Bina is the wisdom to be able to see the inner core of something, of what is inside, and that is to be able to see the dimension of holiness. So when it says B'nai Bina, the children, the men of wisdom and understanding, it is Bina that is the antidote to Greece, to the Greek philosophy, to the Greek theology, to the Greek approach to life. And who had that? It says the women. Women we know who are blessed with an extra dose of Bina, of that type of intuitive understanding, who maintain their faith in all centuries and all places. It's the Jewish women who have done that. So this type of Bina is our antidote to the power of Yavan. When we go back to our Nes Gadol Hayasham, we want to go back to that for a moment, because those letters don't form a word, but they do have a gematria. They do have a numerical equivalent. So what is it? We'll take the biggest number first, which is the shin. The shin is equal to 300. The nun is equal to 500 to 50, 350. And then the hey is 5, and the gimel is 3. So that's 358. 358 is the gematria of two important words: Nachash, which is the serpent, and Mashiach, which of course is the Redeemer. It says, Nes Gadol Haya Sham, is that we spin this, and this is the choice. This is the choice that we are making. When we spin Nes Gadol Haya Sham, it's like, are we on the side of Nachash, of the serpent, which is the Yetzer Hara, like the Satan force, or are we on the side of Mashiach, of that the Redeemer, the ultimate Messiah? It says that's what's at play with the dreidel. It says that's what's happening. Nes Gadol Haya Sham 358 is the Nachash Mashiach. I will call it a battle, but it's the battle that we all have, and that our goal is to prevail, is to win. So when we win that, it says ultimately that we will prevail. It says then we will have the building of the third Beit HaMikdash, and we saw our red heifers that are already ready for it. Here in Mitzpeh Yericho, we already have the little lambs and goats that are ready for the korbanot. I can't quite get my head around that, but I'm sure God will take care of it in some lovely way. But we've got all the things ready. The Machon HaMikdash, the Temple Institute, has created all of the vessels, the gold, everything that's all ready to go. So this freaks out our enemies because they know it's coming. Just as the Canaanite nations knew the Jews were coming and they were coming to claim their land, it's like they know that we're coming. They know that we're here. They know what's going to be unfolding, and it causes them to freak out. But what are you going to do? Our goal is to be Hanukkah Jews. So I had a very kind of a image in my mind that just like the United States has the Statue of Liberty holding up the torch on the whatever in New York, in the harbor there, is that in Israel, what we should really have in the Mediterranean is holding up a menorah, which is the symbol, of the state of Israel, is the menorah, but is holding up that light as a beacon, because truly it is a beacon of light. I know I described it to you in my email a little bit, that since we light outside and we're on the edge of our yishuv, it's darkness around us. And so you see our menorah, and then there's nothing else around, except for one night where the only other light was the wedding hall, because somebody was having a wedding on Hanukkah. So there was the light of the chuppah was lit up, and the wedding hall was lit up for dancing, and our menorah, and everything else was dark. I'm like, this is the Jewish people, as we light up the world with the spiritual light of a God-centered, God-aware, mindful living. And that is what Hanukkah is. And that we should, I would like an artist to draw that, but I don't know how to draw that, but that's what I'm holding in my mind, is that beacon of that menorah, of that Chanukiah. So as we go through these parshas, we can see that what's happening here is that we are really celebrating the future redemption of the Jewish people. As we sing in Mount Sor, we're really going to the very end of history, where we say that the exile of Rome should be ended. Repulse the red one. The red one is Edom, that's Rome. That's what we are all experiencing. Now, even for those of us living in Israel, we are still in exile. It says the fact that other nations have sway and have control and have a say in how we live our life, that is a form of exile. It is like we are not yet done. However, we have almost more than half of the Jewish people of the world living in the land of Israel, and that has not happened for several thousand years. So we are definitely at a new benchmark place in the unfolding of world history. And we are in verse 6. We're not in these other verses yet or anymore. We've completed those verses. So we're in verse 6, where the song is coming to its grand finale. We thank God for everything that has happened, that has allowed us to reach this stage. And it's so fascinating that on Hanukkah, that we thank God for the miracle. Every single day of Hanukkah, we say the same blessing. We thank God for the miracle. We say it, it's when we have Sukkot and we have Pesach, we do not make a kiddush. We don't make the blessings over and over again. For the holiday. It's like once you inaugurated the holiday, that's it. But on Hanukkah, except for the Shehachianu, we keep saying the same thing every single day. She'asa nisim lavotenu, for the miracles that you have done for us and that you are doing for us at every moment. And of miracles that have been unfolding here in the past couple of years have been so profound. And it's so easy to lose sight of them with all of the difficulties and challenges and heartache that is also happening at the same time. But there have been so many miracles. I don't know if you saw that on Bondi Beach, that they found that there were explosives devices that were launched that did not go off. And just to think about how many more people, God forbid, could have or would have been killed. And that people who threw themselves in the face of danger, that couple who wrestles a gun away from, I don't know who these people are made out of. We thought, oh, maybe it's like the Israelis and it's the soldiers. Like, no, it's the Jewish people and that wonderful Muslim person who also what he did. But these are unique. We are a unique nation, really incredible.
He was not a Muslim, excuse me. The media didn't get that right. He's a Arab Christian.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't have Facebook, but someone who has Facebook said that the media just jumped to that conclusion.
Oh,
incorrect.
Okay, well, I don't know. The fact that he's not Jewish is already amazing. Whatever he is, he's a hero. And that's amazing. Thank you. So we have so many things to be grateful for. Hanukkah is all about the gratitude, which we have. And says that the light of Hanukkah, I have to say that when Hanukkah ended, I felt a little let down, that there was kind of where's the light? So it's just like the light is still here. And now hopefully it went into our eyes and into our minds, into our hearts and our souls, and will now beam out from each of us, and that we will be beacons of light to people in our family, in our communities, to the world. The Jewish people are the light, and it's even with all the static of everything else that is out there, it's quite challenging and overwhelming, but we just need to kind of keep our eyes literally not just on the prize, but keep our eyes on the light, because it's there. So God willing, we will conclude the Sefer Bereshit And we will have a Shabbat Chazak, not this week, but next week as we conclude. And then in 2 weeks, we will launch into the book of Shmot. So we have laid the foundation in this book. This is called the Sefer HaYeshar, that this is the book of the straight people, of the people whose lives and whose choices and whose circumstances have shaped not only their lives, but who have shaped ours. Just as a final example, now I forget which of the hostages who was freed, that his father, before the hostage was freed, said that he wanted to do what Jacob does in this week's Parsha when Jacob is reunited with Joseph, that it says that Joseph cried, but that Jacob recited Shema Yisrael. And feel like, you haven't seen your child for so many years and you don't just like fall on him and hug him. You channel that into Shema Yisrael to be able to have that. And one of the fathers said that that's what he was going to do before he hugged his son. And they recorded it. And he says, Shehachianu, and he says Shema Yisrael, and then he hugs his child. And it's just like, and he goes, I'm channeling Yaakov. Od Avinu Chai, our fathers, our ancestors, they are very much, very, very much alive in each and every one of us. And we don't always choose the circumstances where their strengths are manifest from us, and we should be blessed to only have it be in the best of circumstances, in the best of situations. But whatever it is, we should hope that we will just do our mothers and our fathers proud, because most people want their parents to be proud of them. And so we want our mothers and our fathers to be proud of us. And they have set a high bar, but one that is clearly able to be reached. And God willing, we will live up to each of their names of Am Yisrael and Beit Yaakov. So we will catch up in 2 weeks with Parshat Shemot as we launch the Jewish people descent into enslavement and then their ultimate redemption. So the family's back together, and now the scene is going to go quiet for a number of years until it returns at the end. Yes, that was my menorah in the email. Yes, lit on that last night of Hanukkah. So, all right, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I really missed being able to see you, and I'm glad thank you. I'm glad that we're back together, and I will look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. So have a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you so much, Ellen.
Thank you.
And a happy 2026 when it starts.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Ellen.
Alan,
Yes.
stay on, or should I email you? I have 2 things to ask you. Would you like me to email
you can, or
the
you can
2
you can stay
questions?
on and ask me is also fine.
Well, other people might still be on. I don't know.
Okay.
Number one,
You're welcome to email me.
I emailed you. Jerry Sobel passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so
that.
I've emailed you that, and that's why I was putting people's names in to send an email about it, and why I was late by a couple minutes. And you were talking about a tour. Could you email me? Was this an Israeli tour that you took, or a JNF tour, or where? Did you
No.
went to Shiloh and
The Shiloh? Yes. It was
Shiloh?
it was a
Shiloh.
family that organized it. It was
Oh,
it was an annual thing that their family organized and opened up to other people.
oh, how nice.
It was
Okay,
really
well,
nice.
if you hear of anything like that, I'm interested, because I would maybe be able to go and do that. That's one thing. Is everyone off now?
No, we have a number of people on. We have like 5 or 6
Okay.
people on.
Okay, then I'll email you the rest. But anyway, I thought he was a Christian. Oh, I was going to ask you, Nazareth was Jewish. Was it the name Nazareth Jewish, Hebrew?
I forgot. No, Nazareth, I think that's the same as Shechem.
Oh, Shem. Oh, Shem.
Shechem.
Okay.
That's
But
where
it's now Arab Christians mostly,
I think
right?
it's Arab. I don't know how Christian it is now since it's under the PA. I think the Christians, I'm not sure how many Christians are there now.
Okay. It's under okay.
Yeah.
That is one thing. Okay. But Nazareth is not a
I,
Hebrew name then.
no, I don't think
It's
so.
an Arabic name. I'll look it up on Google.
I don't know if Nazareth comes from the Nazir. I'm
Oh,
not positive. I'm actually not sure,
uh-huh.
Marcia. Go ahead and look it up.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
Okay. I'll do that. Well, Huckabee, our
He's
ambassador in
wonderful.
Israel,
Oh my gosh, he
he
is
he
so
he
amazing.
was in Nazareth
Oh, good.
and
Okay, good.
he toured and did he praise the Israelis and Trump and all that. He was very good. He was on Newsmax for just
He's
a
I've
half
I've
hour. But
I've heard him speak in person here at events, and he's so unapologetically supportive. He gets it
yes,
and he
yes.
understands. Yes, he is a
The
God-fearing
history.
man. He is a
Yes,
God-fearing man
and
and he
he's got
understands.
the history down pretty good. Okay,
Yes,
everyone
he
be
does.
well and safe. Everyone be
Thank
well and
you. You
safe, and
too.
God
Oh,
will
Ellen,
help us through all of
Thank you.
this.
Amen.
Shalom.
Hey, Trudy. Yes.
thank you, Ellen. On previous lectures, you talked about there's a reference to the 25th of Kislev because of the Gematria 25. I think it was the first sentence of Breshit. I can't.
The 25th word of
Oh,
Bereshit is the word or, light.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
about the spiritual light that was created, called Or Haganuz, the hidden light that comes out for us on Hanukkah to provide us with spiritual clarity so that we can connect to who we are.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, and one comment, the Arab who saved Bondi, there was a fundraiser for him. He received over $2 million from around
Yes,
the world. And I think that just shows support for.
yes. Oh, he's been, and I think, yeah. And his, I think that a relative of his light the menorah,
Oh, yeah.
one of the candles. So
Wow.
yeah. Now, and he deserves all of that support. At the same time, the victims have not gotten the same amount of support that he has. Now, obviously, he should have all of that support, and the people who were hurt and maimed and everything else should
Right.
also. Because it said,
Right.
you can't have somebody getting $2 million and somebody else getting, 20,000. There's something that needs to be adjusted there.
Right.
So.
That's a big statement.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ellen.
You are welcome. So good to see you guys.
Good to
Too.
see you, sweetie. I have a question, which is,
Yes,
I don't want
Annie.
to take up anybody's time, sorry. The other, Babylonia, Greece, Egypt, Rome, wasn't there one more? Did I not get that?
So let me just go back, rewind a little bit. We don't count Egypt as one of the four. Egypt is considered the mother that holds all of
You're
them.
right, I got that.
Okay,
Okay,
so the first one is Babylonia. Second is Persia,
Persia.
Greece, and Rome.
Yeah, Persia, Greece. Okay, thank you. And then also, I was trying to see on page 255, when you said that Benjamin got 5 times. Or
Yes.
5 garments, but I was looking, it wasn't on page 255, I can't remember which one it was, but I couldn't find what the 5 things were that he got, because I read it over and over and over. I'm not sure which.
Are you talking about the reference to Mordecai in the Megillah or to Benjamin in Egypt?
Maybe it was 1259. I
Okay,
think
so that's in the Megillah. So let's go to that.
Yeah. I was confused which one I was looking at, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, yes, it said turquoise, white with a large gold crown, apparel of turquoise and white with a large gold crown, robe of fine linen, purple. And I don't get 5. Am I
Okay,
wrong?
so the way they count it is, if I have a bush, Malchut Techelet, the Chur, V'Ateret Zahav, V'Tachrich Boots, V'Argaman. Okay, so they're counting it, let's see, Vush Malchut, Techelet, the Chur, V'Ateret, the Boots. Okay, Techelet, the Chur, blue and chor, and white, and then the Ateret Zahav, the large gold crown, and then it says boots, the argaman, fine linen, and purple. So those are called 5 different things.
Okay, I came up with 4.
Okay, so go back to it, and you're going
Yes, yeah, I'm looking.
Techelet, which is blue, turquoise,
Yeah,
chor, which is white, the large
okay, so
gold,
that, I
the
I
large,
see where we are now. Okay. Okay, I just gotta show
good
you
question,
one
good
thing.
question.
I gotta,
So
now if I can,
fascinating.
it really is. Let me see if I can figure out how you,
Now you're muted.
is it on
Now
now?
now I can hear you, and now I can
Okay,
see
good.
you.
Well, I have to, I don't know how to turn this around, so I'll just show you. This is, tell me if you can see. This
Oh,
is
that's pretty.
from my trip with you, from my trip with you,
Oh, beautiful.
from my trip with you,
Oh my goodness, look at you.
and from my trip with you.
Look at that. You got some really nice things, Andy.
I love them so much. And for my trip with you, it really
Yay.
needs to be, I don't know how to clean these because I don't want to wreck the parchment. But it's, that real intricate, gorgeous, um, is it Yemenite?
Oh, is it Yemenite? Yeah, the Yemenite
It's
silver.
so intricate and there's little tiny, I don't know if you can see it, but it's little tiny, gorgeous. This is not so dirty. This is filthy. I don't know if
Oh,
you could.
yeah, I see. Yeah, it gets tarnished.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Thank you for, it was a really cool class, and I hope you have a wonderful time at your next wedding. You're the
Thank
wedding
you.
queen.
It's a family from Denver, whose daughter made Aliyah, and
Oh,
she's getting married
nice.
here.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
So it
And
should be nice.
one other just quick question. When you said there was only the lights from the wedding hall and your menorah, did the rest of the people in your, what do you call it? It's not an Arab.
A
Maybe
yishuv,
your
which means
yeshuv.
a settlement.
Okay,
I'm a
in
settler.
your yeshuv, did other people not like their menorahs? That you were the
They
only one?
did. I meant just like the sky is so dark because we're on the edge of
Right.
the yishuv.
You you
So
showed
looking at,
me that.
so it's just, I mean, it wasn't like pitch black. It was just a lot of darkness. The only thing you could see like kind of right in like one slice of
Hmm.
the area was darkness and our menorah and the wedding hall.
In the, when you look out um your glass windows that go to your patio, are there settlements down below you?
There is another one that it's farther away, so we can't really see it. We can see their date palm trees because they have date palm
Oh.
trees,
Oh.
but we can't really see the homes.
Well, I hope they can see your light.
Aw. Well,
I know they
interestingly,
can.
because we have to, the light is, we place it in a way so that people, we're kind of on a corner. So, and then
Okay.
there's a big kind of hill that comes down, like a road, the street that comes down. So where we light it,
Beneath you
people
or
walk-
above you
Well,
or on the side of you?
the street is on the ground level and we're on the 5th floor.
Okay, okay.
So, but the hill is a big hill, so people coming down, they can see up to our patio and they can
Oh,
see
that's
the menorah.
beautiful.
So it's
That's
very
beautiful.
cool.
Are
Really
there
cool.
buildings now past where you are? Because I
No,
think you were the last one, if I'm
yeah, there's
remembering.
nothing. No, we're like on a cliff, so there's nothing past us.
Wow. And it will never be built up there.
It can't.
So
Yeah.
how beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Well, have a good, sweet night, Lila Toe.
Thank you. Say hi to Ron.
He kisses, I will. He just walked out. He texted me, going to get bagels. And I was
All
like,
right.
yes. I had no idea today was the 24th. I literally wouldn't leave Denver until after Hanukkah was over. And I thought, you know what? I really would like to be home. But I got him to stay this long, so I was happy.
That's good. How long are you in Arizona?
I'm going back the end of next month for for Reed's birthday. And I'm going back on the end of February for Ellie Shai's birthday. And we get to see them sometime whenever their spring break is. They want to go during spring break this year to go to Mexico. Because when we used to go over this time, winter break, it was just too chilly. You know, the weather was not lovely. So whatever they want to do, I am happy to do.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, give Steve kisses, give the kids kisses. Did you have fun at your family celebration?
We did. We had a couple celebrations. We had a celebration with Dahlia's family and her extended family, and then they started including us when we used to come to visit during Hanukkah. And since we were with Benjamin and Dahlia, they included us. So now,
That's
even after
sweet.
we've made Aliyah, they still include us, which is very
Is that
nice.
sweet? Did her parents make Aliyah as well?
Mm-hmm.
So all of her family has made Aliyah.
Except for one brother. She has one brother who lives in the States, but her other brother, her grandmother, her aunts and uncles, except
Are
for
all
one,
there?
are in Israel.
That's so cool. That's so cool. You know, Chaya is there.
Yeah, she was in touch with me. We knew we weren't going to get to see each other, but it was so nice of her to take the time to be in touch. So
Because Leah had a new little baby boy.
yeah, it's so
He's
sweet.
so fabulous. Okay, love, I've taken way more of your time than I should have.
Excuse me, you're
You're
fine.
so
It's
ready
nice
to go
see
to
you.
bed.
I think I am just about ready. I'm just about ready. I'm gonna go do dishes first.
Oh, Lila Tove. Lila Tove, sweet
Lila
dream.
Tov.
Have the best couple weeks. I'll miss you.
I'll
It's
miss
just
you.
I don't know if you realize how much you give out, how
Oh,
you are that person that we talk about. I don't know why when I talk to you, I start to cry, and I do not ever cry, but you just touch everybody's hearts in such a
that's so sweet.
profound way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so mutual. I love being able to do this. It just someone said, "Are you going to retire?" And I'm like, "Nope." As long as I can,
You're
Bezrat
something.
Hashem, as long as I can,
Do
as
it.
long as I can do it. I love it
You're the best.
so much
Love
to
you.
me. Love
Sweet
you.
dreams. Have a great Shabbos.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Bye. You too. Thanks.